So it's the summertime and it's far too fucking warm to be wearing those hot dressing gowns.
Those dressing gowns are so hot.
Very warm, and we're in a top floor flat, so it gets
with the
quite
studio light.
Toasty here.
So we've stripped down a bit.
Strip these down, hope you don't mind. So we got the question about having a low cervix. This poor girl,
when she stuck her finger up in her vagina, she felt something a bit lumpy.
Ooh, lumpy.
She thinks it's her cervix.
Which it probably is. She also mentioned in the question that her boyfriend couldn't put his cock all the way in, and he hit the back quite a lot. And was this normal? And we just wanted to say, yes, it is completely normal.
Yes,
you have a normal vagina. We have normal vaginas. I myself own a low cervix. Oh yeah, thank you. Thanks guys. Low cervix for the win. Basically, when I was first starting to figure myself out and fingering myself, finding out what's going on down there, I realised that I had something very weird inside my vagina. And it didn't feel right, I didn't know what it was, I was freaking out. I had a boyfriend at the time, but we hadn't had sex or hadn't done anything sexual yet, so I was like, right, before this gets any worse, like I genuinely thought it was a bit of an organ or a growth or a bit of my rectum that had grown inside my vagina, and I had no idea what was going on. It felt weird,
it sounds pretty scary.
Shiny, fleshy, bit lumpy here and there. Weirded me out, you know, thinking the worst, but went to the doctor and she just was like, you have a low cervix. And she was right, having a low cervix doesn't do anything, doesn't mean anything, it doesn't change your vagina to anyone else's, you can still
Did it affect your sex life at all?
Not at all. I didn't find, at the very beginning anyway, when I was losing my virginity, it was completely normal. You know, my boyfriend didn't say anything at the time, I didn't think anything of it. It kind of just, whenever I was fingering myself,
you
kind of just, felt it, but it kind of just slips to the side. And realising as I got older, as I started having sex, it was completely fine to have sex with. Mine is quite low, but the penis kind of just sort of went around it. There was no issues with, well, I hadn't found any issues, and same with fingering as well. I
guess do you have to be a bit more gentle if you've got a low cervix?
Yes, I'd say that you can't just have someone finger you really fucking hard, because I've had incidences in the past where somebody's done that, which has been bloody great, but I've bled in the process, and again that's just because they've accidentally cut you. You know, I didn't feel any pain, I haven't had any pain afterwards. A bit of blood is completely normal when you've got a low cervix and you've been fingered. It's the same if you've had sex.
You can bleed during sex, like rough sex, without having a low cervix.
Absolutely. You know, you can just get little tears here and there, which are completely fine as well, because our vagina heals so fast.
Yeah, it's a miracle.
Beautiful. So after a little bit of research, I had a look, and there's sort of a chart that says if you've got a low cervix or not a very low cervix. And the chart was sort of like on a finger. So it's the idea of if you can finger yourself and you feel your cervix with that much room going into your vagina, then you've got a low cervix. That is medium, and that is a normal cervix. I don't agree with that chart, because I can get a full finger all the way in and still feel it and around, and you know, and I can still get a cock all the way in. It sounds like with this problem, if you can't get a hard erect cock all the way in, it just means that you have a shallow vagina. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, it's just you might prefer the company of a smaller penis, depending on how painful it can be for you. Big cock's always great. There's nothing wrong with a big dick, as long as it's not hurting you too much, and as long as the guy's having a good time. But it might just be that his cock is just that little bit too big and your vagina is just that little bit too small. It can be the other way round. It can often be the other way round too. We just have to be a little bit careful if somebody's fingering us. So not to worry if you think you have a low cervix. Sex is completely normal and fine. If you find it isn't, then it's always worth going to see a doctor. It's the same with if you know that you have a low cervix, then just let the guy know. Don't finger blast me so fucking hard.
Yeah.
As long as you're having a nice
Yeah,
time.
let them know if it's hurting, and if you see any blood, just let them know so that they don't do it as hard next time, because you don't really want puncture wounds all the way up your cervix.
Yeah, absolutely. And having a low cervix doesn't necessarily mean that you're higher risk of infection, that you're higher risk of pregnancy. All vaginas are high risk of everything, for fuck's sake. Like, there's no point worrying about it.
Any higher risk.
Yeah.
You need to be careful about everything. Anyway.
Just look after down there. It's attached to you. You don't want it getting angry. But yeah, so having a low cervix is no big deal, really. If anyone else has a problem with it, then they can fuck right off. They don't really deserve to be spending any time with you.
Yeah, it's not an issue.
Not an issue. Yeah.
So,
Love our vaginas. Love them. But thanks for listening, and I hope that's cleared up some things.
Yeah.
You're all completely normal. Subscribe to us.
click
Wherever the thing is to click on.
here.
Click on it. Subscribe. And,
Here
and also,
maybe.
click on these.
Here.
And also, please ask us any questions you want. We will try and answer them as quickly as possible.
Yes, you can just head to our blog to ask us questions.
Yes, and enjoy the hot weather. We're not going to be sweating in those dressing gowns anymore. God almighty.
I'm still hot now though, are you?
So warm. So warm. Bye everyone.